Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the formal presentations, but that now does not mean that it's the end necessarily of this event, because there is now the opportunity, and I can see Zoran getting himself into position with his trusty microphone to thrust it into the under the nose of a willing speaker who might like to ask a question or two, not only of the speakers from this afternoon session, of course, but also to speakers from this morning. Now, does anybody feel brave enough and awake enough, alert enough to ask a question of any of the speakers this afternoon? Meanwhile, perhaps while you're thinking about that, perhaps I might just sort of pick up on a couple of points that were made. And I'm going to kick us off with our host, Peter, who's busy chattering now. I have a question for you. Peter, you mentioned about the high-speed network here in the southeastern Europe region. This is probably a slightly difficult question to ask, but it might be something that you've reflected upon anyway. It's very ambitious, what you identified. How realistic do you think is it to get some kind of delivery of at least part of that dream?
Well, I just want to point out that that was the idea which was raised by the partners of Cesari. So maybe I would, as I mentioned, I would say around, not the high speed, but maybe the time speed, you know. So maybe we should discuss in the future how long have to take from Ljubljana to Belgrade to Ljubljana to Skopje to Ljubljana to Athens to from Budapest to I don't know, you know, maybe we should take around, but I would say that I don't see any reason if we discuss that we have potential of 20 or more million people, that we have potential in the freight. I don't know why we should not have the high speed or something, or let's say the quality of service comparable to, I don't know, to the cities in Western Europe. So I don't know why Budapest and Belgrade or Ljubljana and Vienna would not be connected by the trains, which could come, let's say, in 3 or 4 hours. So maybe we should turn around. But there's clearly, of course, idea is open, and we will see.
So I suppose rather than high speed, it's speeded up.
Yep.
rather than high speed. Matty, the research that you guys are doing in the work that you're developing, and the people that you're talking to, how realistic is this 3 to 4 hours, do you think, in the fullness of time?
Okay.
You can.
No, it's okay. Well, I think that maybe the answer should be high enough speed, yeah, for what we want to achieve. But I think that, look, the high speed or high enough speed, let's call it, because then we start this endless discussion, 200 yes, 160 yes or no, and so on. But I think that high enough speed to what we want to achieve. And I think this is not only realistic, it's also already becoming a reality. You will be able to travel, if you come to Serbia in the beginning of next year, you will be able to travel on the high-speed railway line between Novi Sad and Belgrade, which will be half an hour and 200 kilometers per hour. So reality is on the ground, and if you see the number of projects in the region, including starting from Slovenia, Croatia, but all the way to Greece, if you see the number of projects and the amount of money being dedicated to the region specifically for the railways, I do think that reality in 5 years' time will be very much different than reality today. And allow me just to, mention one more thing. In the latest paper of European Commission regarding the climate change and transport, one important milestone is there, and that is that it's a goal that the entire all the transport or all the distances which are less than 500 kilometers should become climate neutral. Well, that means that you can only, at this moment, with this technology, use the train or the car or the electric car or so on, but the train is the answer for that. And as Peter before showed some kilometers, if you go from Ljubljana or from Belgrade, almost anywhere, the distances are 500 kilometers or below. So that is really a natural ground for a reliable, speed enough or a fast enough train system or the rail system. But one thing that we'll have to also tackle is the border crossings. Because it doesn't matter if the train flies, if it then stops for an hour and a half at the border crossings for the passport checks. And that is something that we need to really look as the system.
It's part of the big mix, of course, as part of the interoperability, shall we use that word, of being able to get across the borders. Can I ask also, Nebojsa, is there work you're doing in your faculty on the high-speed rail, but also how we might surmount some of the problems that Mate has just said about border crossings and that sort of thing? Is that work you're doing?
Yes. It's a part of our domain work, so as you highlighted, I mean, I fully agree. We have the capacity to do that in a theoretical level. I love to bring the practice as well, so I think that this organization will help us to be more effective and efficient in terms of the way how to reconnect the region, or how to, on technical level or on other levels, find out the solution, taking into account absolutely knowledge from one side and experience from the knowledge from the side of people from academia in Serbia or in the region, and the practical side from the European Union countries, and to help us to be more effective, and to do that in as we hear in the next 5 years. I think that the result in terms of the shift to railways will be impressive. I mean, I don't like to promise too much because it's not my way to communicate, but I'm sure the heavy works and many things that have been in work in progress in terms of infrastructure of the railway system will be in 5 years quite different, and I hope that we can present that results much more before, but I'm realistic and I'm not coming from political side, and coming from the academic side, so I know that not to promise too much, but maybe even we will be more satisfied with results before, but that the whole system needs to be integrated. It's not no solution if we have partial elements of the system. So this needs a systematic approach, and I think that was the good place to set that in the front of the people who are decision maker. I mean that depends mostly, and I need the West Balkan or all the region need support and help of European Union, and I think the things which have been done in last couple of years, it's going to back that important place for social, for economical, for investment reason, back to the Europe again.
You say you come from an academic background, but in actual fact, in my experience, the academia can often be the bridge between the technicians and the politicians, and quite often it's that reasoned approach, that reasoned argument that you guys can come up with.
Absolutely, I fully agree with you. We need to do that, and I'm personally doing that.
If nobody else has got any questions, I've got another one, and it's for Francois, from his speech this morning, related to 5G, and you spoke of it being necessary to do. Unfortunately, I don't think we had the time really to go into why it's so important to move from GSMR to the 5G structure, and nor did I don't think we were able to go into the timescales. Perhaps you could elaborate a little bit on that.
Rapidly then, well, it's necessary for a very simple reason that the manufacturer will stop to do GSMR, because GSMR is 2G, 2G is over, there is no more manufacturer, full stop. Starting 2030, it will be impossible to find any manufacturer for GSMR. So we have to jump to the latest standard, which is 5G. In terms of schedule, the first prototype should be available normally by 2025. We are on schedule for the development. That means that the first procurement could start 2023, 2024. Well, and I already said it, but beyond the fact that it's an absolute necessity, it will offer a lot of possibility for developing new services.
Thank you very much. I think it's a very important point of precision to actually highlight the fact that it is something which is really important. The fact that the 2G network is going to stop, and we have, if we want to carry on with this communication. Yeah. So it stopped everywhere except. But Carlo, I think you're itching to come in.
No, I think is what you pointed out is important. I think also what we are trying to do, and I think FRMCS is going in this direction, is not a arrival point. So 5G and the modular approach we are introducing is opening the full world of telecommunication in the rail system to a scalable solution. I think this is a major change that we are introducing. And it will help to catch benefits from much more. So I think the work that UIC is doing in coordinating this work and the work we will be doing together in the future will be really important from this perspective. It will be also the first case in which we decouple, if you want to, the system in a manner that will be scalable in the future evolution of the technology.
Thank you very much indeed, Carlo. And if nobody else has got any questions, Peter, then I think I've exhausted the list of things that I didn't say I am exhausted. I said I have exhausted just in case before somebody runs away with the idea. I think we have exhausted the idea, the topics that we were raising today, and the questions that we had. So perhaps a little conclusion from you?
I think that you were moderator, so you would do a beautiful conclusion.
There's nothing like passing the buck, is there? So, ladies and gentlemen, I think there is a cup of coffee waiting for us outside, but just before we go to that, I'd like to thank everybody here. Those of you who have stuck it out until the end, well done. And thank you to the speakers, to Francois and to Carlo and to Balázs and who else was there? There was Nelson this morning as well, and also to Peter and to Matti and to Nebojsa, who have done an excellent job in trying to bring round to a number of people the concept of what is going on in this and what is the very interesting and indeed passionate approach that there is to try and evolve the railway system here and to make it part of, if not the backbone of a sustainable future here in the southeast region. And I think that's something which is really important and something which I hope to see invigorated, indeed, to quote a word that you like to use, Peter, revitalized. Thank you very much indeed. Those of you